Yo, I'm back. It's been a while since I last posted, but I'm here now with another video. So I was thinking about another idea for a video, and I decided that today I will be talking about my workout journey and how I got to where I am today. Now, I've talked about this to other people before, but I don't think I've told the full story, besides my family, so I will try to explain everything in this video. So it all started when I was young. And the thing about me is that I love to eat. Now, I don't eat like how everyone else eats, such as eating some breakfast, lunch, and maybe a snack and then some dinner. Instead, I like to just eat breakfast and dinner, but in large portions. So most of the time, I'll be eating cereal, maybe some biscuits, or an apple if I feel like it. And after that, once it's in the afternoon, I'll be eating some pasta, pizza, burgers, or just whatever can satiate my hunger. Now, this continued until I was about 10 years old. Until one day, when I was getting ready for school, I then started to realize the amount of weight that I started to gain. And to be honest, it was pretty shocking for me. The reason why is because I've never actually gained weight before. You see, I have very high metabolism, so whenever I eat food, especially in large portions, I stay at the same weight the next day. So you can see why this would be very surprising. However, since I gained only a little bit of weight, I thought it didn't matter, so I shrugged it off. But soon after, I started to put on more and more weight, to the point where I can clearly see that it was becoming a problem. Well, a problem for me at least. And as a result, I started to become ashamed of myself and my own body, to the point where I started asking myself questions like, how can I get a girlfriend if I'm overweight? Will I be able to defend myself? And most importantly, is it fair for my future wife to accept this frail, unhealthy body? So, I looked at myself in the mirror one more time, and at that moment, I realized that I needed to change. Not only for myself, but for the people around me, so that I can one day be a man that can stand tall and be proud of who he has become. So soon after, I started trying to figure out all the types of ways that I could try and lose all this weight. However, as I talked with my father, he considered an alternative. See, my father was big on doing push-ups, and he told me that instead of doing cardio or adopting healthy eating habits, although that would help, he insisted on practicing workouts that could instead turn my fat into muscle. But since I was still new to everything, he said that I should start off small and do push-ups and build on more workouts from there. So I took that information and I ran with it. So starting off with the first year of my journey, I was doing nothing but push-ups. I started off with a goal of reaching 50 push-ups, and I did suck at it for a long time. So I did 10 push-ups for 5 sets. And then once I achieved that goal, I would then set a new goal to reach 100 push-ups. But unfortunately, I faced several problems along the way. One of these problems was that I did not know how to do a push-up. And in my opinion, push-ups are very hard, especially with how my body was right now. I weighted only 110 pounds, and my ultimate goal for this journey was to increase my weight to at least 140. And having proper form was already a problem. My back wasn't straight, my arms were bent, I didn't even go all the way down. And this lasted for about 4 months until my father finally showed me how to properly perform an actual push-up. I also had to look up proper form videos since I wanted to do everything properly so that I do not hurt myself, which I inevitably ended up doing. See, since my form was so bad, it eventually ended in the damaging of my shoulders and my wrists. So I had to take breaks that lasted from days to weeks just so I could let them heal. However, from constant persistence and grit, I was able to finally achieve my goal of reaching not just 50 but also 100 push-ups. I believe I reached this goal at the age of 13, as I did the same thing for 2 years straight. And now, when I perform a push-up, I can do it almost effortlessly. And after reaching my goal of 100 push-ups, I was able to go beyond that and reach a new peak of 150 push-ups. But after looking in the mirror, there was no change at all. And I'm not joking when I say that, I almost looked the exact same. And of course, I lost all that extra weight, but besides that, the only difference was my arms and my stomach being more shredded than what they used to be. I also tried flexing, but didn't really work out that much for me. I get why people do it, but I wouldn't do it all the time, probably as a convenience. So I tried to go on the weight scale to see how much weight I had gained. But to my surprise, I was still at the same 110 pounds since when I first started working out. And it wasn't like I didn't lose weight, because I definitely did. I mean, I started at 130 for my first year, and so I lost 20 pounds. It's just, I didn't gain any muscle. And that really hurt, because it felt like I put in so much effort in order to achieve this goal. And I was fine with me just gaining a little bit of muscle, because that would show that I've made progress with the potential to improve. But instead, I didn't achieve anything. Don't get me wrong though, there was a lot of benefits. Like, I had a boost in confidence and I was more productive. It's just that when I look at videos and I see people who are overweight or just started working out and in a couple of years become jacked with a bunch of muscles, it was really discouraging. Nevertheless, I didn't let that stop me, as I was very desperate, to be more than what I was, which is a very distinct trait of mine. So I asked my dad again if he could introduce me to new workouts. The reason why I did this is because I believe the real reason to why I haven't gained any weight is because I'm not lifting heavy loads to really put pressure on my body. And once I asked my dad this question, he decided to show me how to lift weights. And the first thing that he showed me was the bench press. Now I'm sure you all have seen people use this whenever they go to the gym and whatnot. So when I saw this, I was very interested. But just like before, my dad had to teach me how to perform these workouts properly so that I didn't injure myself. So now when I wake up, I do 100 push-ups in the morning and then walk to school, get through school, and then walk back home. And yes, I did walk to school. I was walking to school for a majority of my life, and it was also another way for me to exercise, as I tried to treat it like it was cardio, since I had to walk for long distances to and from school. And there are a lot of things that I would want to talk about in regards to this topic, since I have not seen a lot of people talk about walking to school. So I'll probably do a video about that later. But after that, I then do bench press workouts in the afternoon, which I did outside and was kind of fun unless I didn't add too much weight. And I definitely felt the burn when doing so. So I made sure to do as much of it as I could at which my body can handle, and before the sun went down. And then I did 100 push-ups in the evening. Fast forward 2 more years and now I am a freshman in high school. And before I got there, my weight was still the same. However, as I reached the end of the school year, I was finally able to start gaining weight, reaching 5 pounds around the end of the school year, from 110 pounds to 115 pounds. Yes, I know it wasn't that much, but it meant a lot for me. I mean, overall, I've been working out for at least 5 years at that time, so it was a very big accomplishment for me. And as my freshman year was coming to an end, one of my classmates, he had suggested that I should do football. And at first I said no, not that I didn't want to, it's just that I didn't know anything about football. And I wasn't really that big of a sports guy either. But I thought about it some more and talked about it with my dad, and I decided that it would be a good experience to participate in something new, especially since I didn't have anything to do at the time. And for the most part, it definitely made my life more interesting. So if I ever remember, I will make a separate video relating to this as well. But basically, to sum it all up, I was able to grow from 115 all the way to 140 by the end of the season. And honestly, looking back at it all, my life had a lot of ups and downs. And that was no exception for my workout journey. But after reaching my goal, I have no regrets, as I could have stopped at any time, and I wasted all that progress. So I'm glad everything worked out in the end. And I believe that is the end of the video. I apologize for the late upload. School has been giving me a lot of schoolwork. In fact, I recently just graduated, so I'll be heading to college soon. I'll try and see if I can post, as I'm going to still try and upload content. But until then, I guess I'll see you guys later. Peace.